Oh yeah, just thought I'll quickly drop my thoughts on Scream Fortress this year. So starting out, Precipice. Precipice? I'm gonna say Precipice. It feels like a weird choice of a map. I actually played on this map during its playtest sessions on TF2 maps, so I've seen this map in its development a little bit as well. Personally I feel it's not a bad map, at least not as bad as some people are saying it is. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like a Scream Fortress map. It just feels like a normal map with a few Halloween things chucked in. I was looking at the forum thread for it on TF2 maps, and it looks like at some point it was going to have like a Hell Underground area, but for some reason the version in game doesn't have that. Personally, I felt it could use a bit more spookiness. Like a few spells or skeletons would have made the map a lot more interesting. Something interesting to note, it's actually a really old map. It was started in 2011 as a way for the developer to work on speeding up their workflow. They shelved it around 2013, then came back to TF2 this year, but they were too busy so they passed it on to a buddy of theirs to finish it off. So that's probably why it feels like maybe one of the earlier TF2 maps in design, like Gold Rush or even Dust Bowl, which is very choke pointy. Despite its flaws, both creators seem pretty keen on making the map better, so definitely give feedback. But please don't send hate to them, I've seen a lot of people saying some pretty mean stuff. The other map added to this update is Laughter. This is a fun map with a lot of little details in it. It actually started out as a map called Slaughter. This is pretty much the Halloween version of that map. There's a shooting gallery next to the spawn a lot of people seem to miss, unfortunately. It's a nice little detail. There's also little throwing and target games around the map, which you can knock around with a gun. And of course there's the funhouse that opens up every now and then. My only real complaint with the map is the placement of the crocodile pits. I understand in Slaughter it used to be a meat grinder, but on this map it just kind of feels weird and in the way. Also, the lifted control point is just high enough to hide a sentry behind it, which can also be quite annoying. Aside from that, this is a great map with a lot of fun stuff in it. As for cosmetics, I don't really care too much about cosmetics to be honest. I feel some of them are a little too silly, even for Halloween to be honest. Also, we get the same case as last year, except it's blue now. Ooh, the spookiest color. So yeah, Scream Fortress is kind of meh this year. I would have liked the third map. If I was put on my Who News Network hat, I'm either speculating it was a smaller update because something big is coming, or no one cares about TF2 anymore, which is probably the more likely outcome. I don't mind. Just bump my desk a bit while I talk.